Hello, everybody, and welcome. It is Friday, July 11th, 2025, and I am coming live to you on a Friday evening, which is unheard of. So I know that we probably won't get very many people. It's hot, it's summer, people are outside. Here it's very hot, but we're supposed to be getting a big storm. So if you hop on, please say hello so that I know that you're here, and let me know where you're watching me from if I don't know who you are. If you're new, welcome. My name is Cindy Pigott, and I am the face behind Stamping Chick Creations, and I am an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up! For the past 19 years, and I am based in Brigden, Ontario, Canada. So welcome. There's Yvonne. Hello. So I did decide to go live tonight because I want to start going live more often. And with my schedule, I know you must know that that can be a little bit difficult. So I was off today, so that would be great. It would give me time to prep, and then I could go live, and that would be, everything will just go tickety-boo. No. Things never go tickety-boo in my life. So I was off today, and I had all sorts of good intentions today, and I got none of them done. So that's great, right? I spent most of the day farming, to be quite honest, and then just about an hour here at the studio creating. So if you are in my sunflower class or in my Christmas in July class, my elite class, any of my classes for July, just an FYI, Stampin' Up! Notified us that UPS, there's Sandra, had misplaced, or I don't even know what. Something happened with a skid, maybe two skids of orders, and they weren't moving. And so they sat there for over a week. Hi, Heather. So they're now moving, finally. So of course my order that I need for all my classes this month was one of those affected. So I don't know when it's going to show up. It says Monday. Not very confident it's going to be Monday. So if you are signed up for any of my classes, please be patient because I am waiting on that order to arrive so I can finish things, package things, get things in the mail. Okay. If you're coming to the class in person, it's not that big of a deal because I have a little bit of extra time. But if I have to mail your package to you, that's where I'm kind of stressing out a little bit. So anyway, you didn't come to hear me blabber. So let's create. I'm going to show you what I'm doing. So I'm going to focus on a stamp set tonight. And I think you're going to know that as soon as you see the stamp set, you're going to say, oh, I love that stamp set, right? And I'm going to show you the versatility. We're going to do a couple different techniques. I'm going to show you, and I will send you the card bits if you purchase the stamp set from me. So I will send you the card parts to this because I know you're going to want this one. Okay? All right. Let me switch my camera. Hang on. Let's just switch cameras. Okay. Prairie grass. This is what we're working with tonight. Hi, Sharon. Welcome back. Prairie grass is what we're working with tonight, and I know there's a couple people have already ordered this, so that's fantastic. This stamp set is $36. Okay, it is a red rubber stamp, so for those of you that don't like the photopolymer, this one is red rubber, and I sat and I actually put all my stamps together today because guess what? Oh, good, that was quick. Okay, good. I was getting worried because I've heard some things not show up, actually. So Prairie Grass is $36. The item code, I'm going to give it to you because you're going to want it, is 166168. So 166168 is Prairie Grass, okay? And I know some of you guys look at the stamp set and go like, what do you want me to do with this? Oh my gosh, there is so much you can do with this. It's actually, it's endless what you can do with this, okay? So let's start with the card. We always start with the card that I think I'm going to like the least. Okay. Now, I did 3 cards this afternoon. I only put one together. And then I was like, okay, will this technique work? Will this kind of look okay? But I didn't finish putting those cards together. So let's start with the first one that I think I'm going to like the least. And then we will decide at the end if that is in fact true. So you're just watching me. You're not doing anything unless you want to craft along with me. If you have this stamp set and want to craft along with me, you're more than welcome to do that. If you don't, then just sit back and watch and get your order ready, because you're going to want this. We're going to play with some two-tone paper, and I'm going to go through that with you, because two-tone paper is only on sale until tonight at midnight, and then the sale is done. And friends, I'm going to tell you, it's normally $13.75 and it's on for $11 right now for a pack of 12 by 12 paper. Okay? So we'll talk about that when I get to that part. Okay, so I am going to use a piece of Lost Lagoon. I totally don't even know if these colors are going to look right together. It's Stampin' Up, doesn't matter. That's going to be my card base. I'm going to use a piece of basic white. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my, what block is this? This is an H block. Okay. I'm going to take, I'm going to try this Garden Green ink pad. Some of my ink pads do not work very well because the temperature in this room is not amazing. So what I'm doing is I'm actually taking my ink pad and I'm putting it right onto my block, right? You guys have seen me do this a million times. This is like not anything new for you, I'm sure. Okay. So can you see the green on there? So as you're hopping on, say hello so that I know that you're here, and let me know where you're watching me from if I don't know who you are. If it's your first time, hello and welcome. So here is my block. I've inked up my block without a stamp on it. I've not lost my mind. This is actually what we do here. And then I'm going to lift that off. And I don't know why my Garden Green is actually a funky color. Like, to me, it's not Garden Green. I don't know. But again, the temperature in this room really messes with everything. You probably hear my fan going. If I don't have the fan going, friends, I will be passed out. Hi, Maddie. Hello, Colleen. Okay, so we did the ink pad onto the block, and I've stamped it on here, so it's called block stamping, if you're not familiar with that. It's very cool. You can do a variety of techniques with this, and it's really, really awesome. I'm going to take this stamp set here. I always struggle with the red rubber now. How to store them. I never used to. I don't know now. My brain is just, yeah, can't deal. Okay, so here's my stamp. It's a good size, this one. What are these called? Cattails? These cattails? Okay, I have the fan going. My hair is blowing around. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, hi, Judy. I'm going to take Daffodil Delight. Okay, so I've got my Daffodil Delight. Again, Daffodil Delight. Some of these colors, they're all messed up from being in my room. Okay, so there's my Daffodil Delight. You're not going to see anything, so don't try to look because you're not going to see the yellow one there. I'm going to take my Pumpkin Pie. Okay. I'm going to do a rock and roll. Has anybody, hi Linda, has anybody ever done a rock and roll technique? Have you ever seen this before? I tell my new crafters when they come to me, I say, don't rock your stamp, because that's a whole new technique. That's a different technique. That's not what we're doing tonight. When you stamp, you want to stamp straight down. This, I'm taking my Daffodil Delight. I've already inked it up. And then I'm going to put this into my Pumpkin Pie. And I'm lightly going to roll it, aiming to just get the corners, or the outside of it. Okay? Now, because, you know, I can't stamp with these long blocks. Okay, I'll try this way. Can you guys still see this? Okay, I'm going to try this way. It's very awkward for me to stamp this way. Can you see that? Now, I'm going to show you the one I did today. But see how, can you see? I've lost my zoom in, zoom out. New technique. Okay, so here's the trick with rock and roll. Okay? I'm going to give you a little tip and trick on this one. This is an amazing technique, by the way. The trick is this. You always want to put your light color first. Always put your light color first. So your base color is going to be your light color. And your, I want to make sure my volume's up here. Hang on. And then your darker color will be your outside color. Okay? And the reason I'm telling you to do it that way is because you don't, if you get your light color into your dark ink pad, it doesn't really matter. Whereas if I were to put my pumpkin pie into my yellow, it's going to ruin my ink pad because it's always going to pick up that orange, right? So you always want to start with your light color and then go into your darker color. So this is what it looks like. I know the lighting is really, really bad. So I will probably take a picture of this and post it for you so you can see it. Rock and roll is an awesome technique. It works best with a solid image. So something that's a little bit more, not so detailed, not so fine lines, works best. So yeah, this one's really, 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 really cool. My nose all of a sudden just got super itchy for some reason. Okay, now, so remember, this is the card that I don't like the most. Now you have to stick to the end because the card that I'm going to show you at the end, I actually, this is going to sound funny. You're going to laugh at me, but I actually was like, dang, that's actually a pretty nice card. I know, weird, I know. So if you are not familiar with the stamp set, let's just take a peekaboo at this for a second. Sometimes life is just hard. So number one, you know, if you know me, that I am a font snob, right? I love my fonts. Is my camera blurry? Is my camera blurry, friends? Sorry, I'm just gonna see if I can just, ooh, that's even worse. Is that better? That might be better. I need to get my eyes checked, so it's really hard for me to tell. Sometimes life is just hard. So I'm a font snob, number one. You're not alone. I'm here for you. So very sorry. My shoulder is yours. Sending the healing power of love. Okay? So this is an absolutely incredible sympathy. What's the word I'm looking for? Sympathy or support or just one of those really difficult situations. Pretty nails. Well, Judy, you just wait, honey, till we get to the last card because my nails actually match my paper. It like bang on, and that was totally not on purpose. They're actually due to be redone maybe on Sunday. I'm thinking about doing Timid Tiger. I'm thinking about doing Timid Tiger for the next color. So I absolutely love this because I love the font. The font is not a font that, you know, we see a lot of, but the words of the font is the words of the stamp set, not the words of the font. The words of the stamp set are incredible. So again, this stamp set is $36. So if you buy the stamp set from me, I'm going to send you the bits for these cards tonight. Okay? So that way, when you get your stamp set, you can recreate these at your leisure. Okay? All right. So I'm going to take some Memento Black. I may have to tie my hair back because there's no way I'm turning off the fan. My hair's blowing in my face and it's driving me crazy. Crazy, crazy. Okay. So here is my, here's my stamp set, or my stamp. I'm lining that up on my grid paper. So if you don't have one of these grid mats, these gloss mats, friends, it's a must-have. I'm going to show you why later on. Okay? So look how simple. Amazing sentiments. It is amazing. This one is a beauty. I'm telling you, this one, I love this set. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to have this set. Like I need another stamp set, but I struggle with sympathy and not motivational, but like those hard situations. I really struggle with those. So I'm going to show you something. This is the card. It's not the card. It's not finished, but this is like the technique, right? So we did the block stamping, which if you're at my paper and inspiration, we did block stamping. And then this is rock and roll, right? Super duper cool. Now I could leave this like this, but it looks a little bit plain Jane to me, right? So what I actually did on my one I did today is I did splatter. Okay, and I'm going to show you how you do the splatter, and I think I'll do the splatter in like yellow just because I feel like the green was a little bit too much on this one, and I think I want it to be a little bit more subtle. So I'm going to show you how we do the splatter. Okay, all right, so here is my Daffodil Delight reinker. So I get a lot of questions about, like, why do I need a reinker? Like, just to reink my ink pad? Absolutely not. Friends, reinkers can be used for a multitude of things, okay? I always encourage people when you buy your stamp pad to buy the reinkers because of lot numbers for your ink too. You want to make sure they are always the same lots. But there is so many amazing techniques you can do with your reinkers. So it's not just a reinker, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put this right down on my glass mat. I'm just going to put one drop because this is, well, okay, well that one's dribbling out, but you only need one drop. You do not need a ton. This is the thing. When you buy a reinker, it's going to last you like a stupid amount of time because they last so long, okay? So I'm going to take my aqua painter, which I just discovered before I went live that we don't even sell aqua painters anymore. So I don't know where I was when that happened. But anyway, if you have aqua painters, I think you can get these just about anywhere. So they're just filled with water. They're like a water pen, basically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to like just, whoops, that's not what I wanted to do, but that will work. So I just put some water into it. Okay. And then I got to be careful I don't get this on my card. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tap. Now, you're not going to see this very much on, oh, maybe you will, as I say, on camera, because it's so light. But I'm basically just flicking. Let me just move this so I don't get this. I'm basically just flicking it like a cigarette, okay, just to get the splatter. I feel like the lighting is crazy tonight. Is that better? I don't know. Can you see that? I've lost my zoom button on my screen. So I will take close-up pictures of this as well to show you. But essentially, that's how you would get some splatter. So, do we sell, or did we used to sell, or can you buy, you know, spritzers and this and that? Yeah, you can, but why? This little thing will do multitude of things. So this is an aqua painter, and then a reinker. Okay, and then your glass mat is amazing for cleanup because you just do this. Okay, okay. So there is my card. So it takes it from just the plain Jane white with just a little bit of enhanced background. Okay, so this is a really, really great technique. Sometimes you have those cards that you're doing and you're like, oh, it looks so stark, right? It just looks blah because there's just not enough. There's too much white and we don't know how to fix it. This is an amazing way to fix it. Okay, so one card, and I just showed you 3 different techniques. Okay, none of which are hard, all of which you can do together or separate. Okay. Oh, I wanted to put ribbon on that, but anyway, just pretend there's ribbon on this, okay? Because I forgot. Use your imagination. And there we go. Very, very simple card. Now, I told you this was going to be the card I didn't like the most, right? So, I wanted to show you more the techniques on this one, and not so much the actual cards, okay? So, we did block stamping, we did rock and roll, and then we did splatter with a reinker. Okay, and then this one was the one that I did earlier today. You're not alone, I'm here for you, which I think is really nice. I think that's a nice sentiment. You could use that for somebody who's struggling, for a loss, for a lot of things, right? Okay, so that was card number 1. Now, card number 2 is one that as soon as I saw the stamp set, I was like, I have to buy the stamp set to do this because we've had similar stamp sets in the past and then they've retired and I've missed them and it makes me sad. So this is why I bought the stamp set, was to do this type of a technique, a couple techniques, but, so I'm using Balmy Blue for this one. And then I'm actually going to do something I don't do very often, and I'm going to use Granny Apple Green. Now, I would normally use Old Olive. I'm an Old Olive girl. I find Old Olive is my go-to green. I don't very often use Garden Green. I don't care for Garden Green. It has its place. It's just not my predominant green that I would use. I generally will use Old Olive instead of Granny Apple Green. Like Granny Apple Green, we're friends, but sometimes I just want a more subtle green. And Old Olive, I feel like, can go across the board, right? And then I have my white. So that's what my front's going to look like. Now, I'm going to put that to the side for a second because we don't need those right now. So I actually took a piece of masking paper. Okay. Again, if you were at my Paper and Inspiration event last year, we used masking paper there. I do use it from time to time. It has its place. You get 12 sheets of masking paper for $9.75. And this is one of those things that, friends, that once you have this, you are going to want to keep this. Like this is a must-have in your crafting room. Yes, you can use Post-it notes. Yes, you can use whatever. But masking paper is intended for paper crafting, which is awesome. Okay. Now, the one thing I'm going to advise, however, is this. When you get your masking paper, before you put it on your card, you need to put it onto your pant leg, preferably like jeans or whatever, like not onto your actual skin. I suppose you could, but you want to put it onto your pant leg because what you want to do is you actually want to take some of the stickiness off. Because once you get masking paper, it's very, 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 very sticky. And if you don't take some of the stickiness off, it actually will rip your card when you go to pull it up. Okay, so it's very important, excuse me, that you take some of the stickiness off so that it comes off your card nicely. Okay, so what I've done is I used the layered circles. No, I did not. I used, oh gosh, it's left me. Anyway, one of our circle dies. Oh my gosh, the name just completely went out the window. I just put the dies back. And I cut a circle out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just place this about there on my card. Okay. I probably should have gone this way a little bit more, but anyway, don't anybody judge. Nobody's judging. We are in judgment-free zone here. I'm going to take my blending brushes. Now, you can do this exact same thing with finger daubers. Okay? You can do this with finger daubers, which probably, when I did this, I thought, oh, Cindy, you should have done this with finger daubers because I am a messy crafter. But you can do this with blending brushes or finger daubers. So I'm using Balmy Blue, and I'm just going to go in a circular motion. Now, you're not going to see much with this just yet because Balmy Blue is a very, very light color. So the thing you want to make sure is that you stay in the circle and not off your masking paper. I did go off my paper today when I did the pumpkin pie, and I was able to erase it. Who would have thought that? But it worked, so that was fine. So because Balmy Blue is a very, very light color, I need to do this a couple times just to make sure. But if I was doing this, oh boy, if I was going to do this with finger daubers, I would be able to get a lot closer to the edge here. I'm being very cautious because this is just your regular brush. We do have smaller brushes, but I actually have one color per brush. So this is my blue brush. And so I didn't want to start a small blue brush, but I could have. It's just me being frugal. Okay, so there's my Balmy Blue. Are you guys still with me? Have I lost you? I'm not seeing any comments or questions, so stop me and ask me questions as I'm going. Here's my Balmy Blue. I'm going to take pumpkin pie next. Now, pumpkin pie is very, very bright, so I want to go very, very light. Okay, so these blending brushes do come 3 in a pack. Remember that. So I'm trying to not go into my blue. Now, I'm still here. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Colleen. If I got, like this afternoon when I did mine, I got too far into my, the orange went too far into my blue. So what I did was I came back with my blue and kind of toned it down a little bit, is what I did. Okay. And then I'm going to take my Granny Apple Green with my green blending brush. And see, again, normally I would use Old Olive for this, but I'm trying to go out of my comfort zone and use a different color. So I want to kind of blend these. Stitch shapes is what this one is called. Stitch circles, I think, is actually what this one's called. These dies. So I want to kind of blend them, but I don't want to go outside of my masking paper too much. Now, the other thing I want to tell you is when you're doing, when you go to cut your shape out of your masking paper, be careful because like this one's got stitching on it. You don't want to rip it. Okay. Now I'm going to come in with my orange just a little bit, just to blend it a little bit more. You don't want to see any defined lines, right? Is this my blue? No, that's not blue. Whoa, that's not my blue. This one's my blue. Okay. Are we happy with that? Okay, so yes, me too, Colleen. So what the trick is you need to start off your paper. So start here and just kind of light and circular motions. I do the exact same thing. If you start like right here, it kind of, I don't even know how to explain it, but you get like a blob. But I find that if you start on off and kind of start here circular and then go in, it works way, way better. Okay. So try that because I think you'll notice a big difference. Okay. So what am I looking for? I'm going to peel this off, and these masking papers generally we can use multiple times. Okay. Not a crazy amount, but I mean 3 or 4 times probably. Now my mask is starting to rip here. So I'm just going to stick that to my camera stand. So this is what I have. So you can see that's where my pieces that lifted, but that's fine. So this is what I have. Okay. Very cool. Now, what if I took, what if I take this one? What if I take this one? Whoa, that one's like running away. It's like, no, pick me. No, you got to go back in there because I don't want you right now. You're too small for what I need. Okay, here we go. Okay, so masking paper, I told you is $9.75, and you get 12 sheets, which is plenty, I say. Okay, so I'm going to line this up as such. I'm going to push this down. Now, I could emboss this. Absolutely 110. I actually was going to emboss it today. And then I thought, embossing seems like a lot of work, doesn't it? It has its place. Okay, so I'm just using my Memento Black. I'm not doing anything fancy dancy here. Just use my Memento Black. It's always awesome when your Memento Black is really juicy. I'm going to line up my paper. So making sure my paper is straight. Okay. And then sometimes life is just hard. Okay, the sentiments of this set, friends. Oh my Lord, I can't. This is one of the ones I'm going to keep. It goes in my forever pile because the sentiments are amazing. The font is amazing. The images is amazing. So you need a sympathy card or just a, hey, I'm thinking of you, just want to give you a hug card. This is the set that you want. And at the price point of $36 is a steal. I should be using my Stampin' Scrub, but part of it's here buried. Okay. So what do you think of that? Do you guys like this? This is my favorite technique. One of my favorite techniques. I have many favorite techniques, but this one is probably the one I love the mostest. Okay, now let's do this and this. Now, this is an 1/8 of an inch or 2/8 of an inch smaller than, or bigger than this on purpose. So remember when I said this should have gone over a bit, my circle? It should have, because it's a little bit lopsided, but I'm not going to do anything about that. I was just thinking maybe I should cut it down. Too late. I'm not going to do anything about that. It's pretty, isn't it, Maddie? So simple, so easy to do. Change out your colors. So you don't have to use blue, orange, and green. You could take out the orange. You could do it with purples if you wanted. You could just do the blue and the green. And again, they don't have to be these colors per se. I just realized, actually, this is really funny. You cannot see this on camera. But I actually have the dots from the stitches around my circle. I don't know that that's on my... Oh, it is on the other one too. Huh. Interesting. It must be from pushing it down, I guess. Okay, here we go. So see how this one's wider than this one? Anyway. Don't tell, and I won't tell. Now, could I put some gems on that? Absolutely. Right? Just a simple, simple card. But these are the ones that you can actually put out a lot of. Now, I'm going to show you what I did this afternoon. Again, it's not finished because I had just sat down to do this and my son messaged and said, are you going to come help? And I was like, yeah, sure. I guess I'm on my way to help. So I did more blue. Okay, so Colleen, remember we were talking about that splatter? You can see it here a little bit, but I was able to kind of, and I went into the blue a little bit, but I was able to come in and add some more blue to kind of like soften the orange. And then I just did more green on that one. Okay. And where I put these weeds, I mean, I could have put them over more. I could have put them in the center, like whatever. Right. So not a right and a wrong for that, but you can see, I don't know, you can't see it, but there's the little dots from my die is actually around my circle, which is kind of cool. Okay, so that's the second card. Okay. Trust me, it is, if you start with just off the page, it makes the world of difference. And sometimes I forget that, and then I go, ugh, I'm so mad at myself, because then sometimes you can't fix it. And then I know it's there, nobody else knows it's there. It's just an inconvenience. All right, so I'm going to do my third card. Just want to put some of the stuff away. Okay, this little stamp is going to cause me grief because it is really trying to run away. Okay, now, this last card was actually the first card that I created, and I was like, oh, that's a really nice card. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to take a second, if you don't mind. I'm going to throw some of my ink pads back up that I don't need, just to give me some more space here, because I actually need my re-inkers more than I need well, I don't know if those went back. Oh, that totally did not go back where it's supposed to go. Okay, now, so we've used this. I'm going to use this one now. Okay. And I think you'll like this card. So for this one, I got to be careful because every time I touch something, if my wires move, it actually screws up my camera. Okay, so this one, I'm going to use Pool Party. Okay. I'm going to use, can you see that? It matches my nails perfectly. This is Highland Heather. Literally, it matches my nails perfectly. I actually took a picture because I was like, yeah, that's actually kind of funny. So Pool Party and Highland Heather, which is not two colors I would ever have thought to put together. And then we're going to use some two-tone paper. Now, here's the thing about two-tone paper. A couple things. It's lighter than our regular cardstock. It's lighter than our DSP. No, it's a little thicker than our DSP. And it has two colors. So the two-tone. So one side is darker than the other. I know you probably cannot tell on camera. Trust me, they are different. Can you see that? And so when I did this today, I kind of forgot about that. And then I did the technique and then I was like, well, that was silly. You did not even do it right. But you would know until I tell you. But, and the thing is, when you have two-tone cardstock or two-tone cardstock, it's only available in 12 by 12. Okay. It's on sale until midnight for $11. And you get, hang on a second, let me just check my Pool Party package here because it's sitting right beside me. Does it say how much I get in it? Oh yeah, no, that would be too crazy for it to actually tell me. And I did not write it down. You get 12 sheets of 12 by 12. Okay. So you can use this for card making. It's not a scrapbooking thing by any means. It's definitely a card making thing as well. However, the thing is with this two-tone paper is that it is most definitely made differently than our cardstock. So when we were in Mexico on the incentive trip and they announced this two-tone cardstock, we were flabbergasted. Like, we're like, what are you doing? I understand that the way they make our cardstock is very, very, very complicated. And there's very few manufacturing companies that will make it for us anymore. So I think it's easier to produce this, and it's one of the reasons why they went that way. However, it is great because you could do a crazy amount of techniques with this. But when you do anything with this, if I were to emboss and sand this, which I'm going to do a whole thing on that too at some point, it's actually white. So this is not colored all the way through like our regular cardstock. Our regular cardstock is produced very uniquely and it's dyed all the way through. This is not. That's what makes this different. Okay. So when I were to rip this, it will go white. Okay. The edges will go white. So keep that in mind. Some people like that. Some people don't, but I'm going to show you the finished card when I'm done. And I'm going to show you, do you have a single pack or is it 1-2 tone per pack? So I actually last year purchased, it was called the reindeer pack, and it was like an assorted pack that coordinated with the reindeer stamp set and dies, if you remember that one. So I had ordered that one, which I have here. I opened it up to see what was in it. It's actually a good kind of way to dabble. But then I also purchased a solid pack of Pool Party. So I believe it comes only in solid colors. I believe. I could be wrong on that. There could be a sampler pack or like kind of like the reindeer pack. But for the most part, I think it just comes in solid colors. Like I don't think it comes by the color families like our cardstock. I could be wrong on that though, Sandra. Okay, so I'm going to use that and that. So we have our Highland Heather. We have our Pool Party two-tone. This is scrap. And then I'm going to use this, which is, what is this? What is this? It's aqua paper. or watercolor paper. It's thicker, it's textured, it's intended to watercolor with or to use a lot of water with. So I love it. Love, love, love it. I use it very sparingly because it is kind of expensive and you don't get a lot, but you don't generally need a lot of it. I'm going to use, this is like a scrap piece that I had. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm going to move these pieces out of the way that I don't need right now because I don't want anything to happen to them. I'm going to use Highland Heather. I'm going to use, nope, not that one. Hang on. Uh-oh, I put my ink pad in the wrong spot. Now my, where's my, here it is. Sorry, Pool Party. And then I'm going to use Granny Apple Green. Okay, so I'm using Highland Heather, Pool Party, and Granny Apple Green. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I'm using the reinkers for this, okay? Because to me, it's easier. However, I'm also going to show you an alternate way to do this exact same thing, okay? But I want you to see that you can use reinkers for other things besides just reinking your ink pads, okay? So I showed you how to do the splatter. Now I'm going to show you a different way. Okay, so, and again, one drop is going to last you an eternity, okay? So you want your glass mat. If you don't have a glass mat, why not? No, I'm just kidding. If you don't have a glass mat, it's fine. You can actually use a silicone mat as well if you wanted. But really, like a glass mat is really ideal, honestly. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my aqua painter again. I'm going to do this. Okay, so I'm mixing it. And then I'm just going to wash. Okay. So, Colleen, you were talking about not being able to blend properly. I kind of had the exact same experience today with my blend, or with this technique. I ended up with a huge blob, which actually you can't see now on the card. I'm going to show you my finished card when I'm done here. I might go a little bit more here. Now, could I do this differently? I want to try something when this is done, because I think it's going to work, but I didn't want to do it and mess this up. So, okay, so this is with, oh, well, there you go, Colleen. Oh, yeah, there's 100 different techniques you can do with reinkers. People are just like, oh, yeah, but what do I need a reinker for? Oh, hello? You need it for a lot of things. I use my reinkers for everything. A lot of techniques. Okay, so what is this one I'm using? I said Pool Party. Okay. So Pool Party. No. Yeah, Pool Party. I actually don't think that's the color I wanted, but that's okay. Yes, it is, because we were using Pool Party cardstock, right? Is that what I said? I get Pool Party and Balmy Blue mixed up all the time. Okay, so now I'm going in with my Pool Party. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm also pushing more water out because I want to keep my paper wet. So, can you do this with regular white cardstock? Not really. Well, you can. You can. I'm not going to say you can't. You can. But our white cardstock is not made to absorb this much water. So it will start to pile. Okay, so as I'm putting my reinker on, I'm pushing more water out. So see how this line here? Now if I keep going, it will eventually erase. Okay, so there's that one. So let me clean that off. So what do you guys think about the Friday nights? Coming into hockey season, Friday nights is not going to work. So I was actually, was actually thinking about doing Thursday nights. Well, I'm so glad to hear that, Joanne. So I want to go live twice. I'm thinking I'll stick with my Mondays because that's what everybody knows. And then I was thinking about going live Thursday nights. And then just doing something like this, where you're going to just learn a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to change things up a bit. Is there other ways to do this exact same thing a lot quicker? Yes. If I was really, really smart and on the ball, you know what I would have grabbed? Because I did pull them out. We actually have a paintbrush, a wide, thick paintbrush aqua painter. Well, we did. I guess you can't buy it anymore. So, and that would have made this process way easier. Instead of this like fine tipped. And I got to be getting low on water in this pen because I've been gushing water out of this thing all day. Okay, so see, this is what I'm talking about here. Too much ink, or too much, it's too much of a line. It's not as light as I wanted it. Okay, now, is this wet? Yeah. Yeah, Friday night sting night. That's right. Thursday's not good for me to watch live. Aw. Okay, good idea. Friday night is sting nights. Thursdays would be good. Yeah, I'm thinking as I come into hockey season, I can't. We're going to have a lot of Friday night games, so Fridays, I can't commit to Fridays, and I don't want to start canceling. But the nice thing is there's always a replay. If you can't catch me. Now, the one thing I will tell you is that on Facebook, they're deleting all the videos after whatever, 30, 60 days. I don't know. I can't even keep up anymore. I'm just going to bring in Pool Party again. But you can always catch me on YouTube, right? You can always go back and watch those. I just saw a spot there and it was really bugging me. There. Okay. I'm going to stop playing with this because the more I play with it, the more I start seeing things. And then I try to fix it. Okay. Stop, Cindy. Stop, stop, stop! Somebody pull the aqua painter away from her. Okay. Now. Oh, look. Lightning's near me. Fantastic. Okay. So, this is wet. Okay? 100% it's wet. So I could do a couple things. I could let this dry on its own. But well, we're live, right? And you guys don't want to sit here and watch this dry. It's like watching paint dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my heat gun to it and I'm going to help it dry. So if you don't have our heat gun, or heat tool, it's awesome. It comes with 3 different speeds and it gets very, very hot. And it comes with a stand. So you can get these just about anywhere, but honestly, I find ours is pretty darn good. So I'm just going to help it along to dry because I want to stamp on top of this, right? So it's going to start to curl, so I'm just going to flip it over. Okay, I think that's pretty good. All right. So there we go. Pretty, eh? That's it. Thanks for joining me. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I told you we're going to use the big... What is this? Does anybody know what this is? This thing? I call it a weed, but I'm sure that's probably not right. I was pulling stuff today. I was trying to pull weeds this morning, friends. Holy smokies, it was hot out there. I messaged my husband. I'm like, okay, I can't pull these weeds. Like, I'm going to actually pass out. So I'm going to have to wait till it's cooler. So this block is, or this stamp is too big for this block. So I'm just going to kind of put it on a diagonal, which is always fun. And then I'm going to bring in this Fang Dangle thing. Oh, look, here's those aqua painters that we used to sell. So I'm going to show you this one because this one's really cool. See how big that is? That would have been a really nice one to paint that with, right? Okay, so I pulled that out. Okay, so I was tidying up. No, it's not tidying. Okay, I was putting stuff away because this room is just, oh my gosh, it's awful. So I was putting stuff away today, and I came across a box with a whole bunch of cardstock that I didn't even realize I had ordered. And in my box was this. Well, it came in a different box, but anyway, it was this, and I was like, oh my gosh, I completely forgot I had ordered this. So I'm so excited. My old my tray, this is what I used to have. This is like an original. It's the old Stampin' Up! Logo. I think it's like from 19 years ago. And it has the plug. You have to pull it. And then this is my original embossing buddy that was flat. And then this is what we had for a brush. And I think was a big tray for this one too. But I think I gave it to somebody and it vanished and it never came back. So I'm very, very excited to have this one because this one, look, it screws on. So I don't have to pull and have all my embossing powder go all over the place. It has this amazing brush, which is nice and firm, which makes like cleaning up the mess easy. This embossing buddy is thick, which is amazing. And then it comes with tweezers. Yes, I know. I was like, yeah, where have you been my whole life? Okay, so we're going to do some embossing, some heat embossing. Okay, so I'm going to take my embossing buddy. So embossing buddies are very, very important. If you don't have an embossing buddy, you can't buy, I don't think you can buy just an embossing buddy anyway. But you can make your own, I think somebody said with cornstarch. Is that what they said? Cornstarch? Or a used dryer sheet works very well. Okay, so you could do that. So now I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to use my Versamark. Versamark is a real issue right now because the manufacturer is really having a hard time producing it. So it's been on back order for 100 years. And so if you happen to find it or if it comes back in stock, I would strongly suggest you get one because it's pretty complicated to get one. Okay. So I'm going to, that's Versamark I was using. So Versamark has a clear ink pen. It's very sticky. So I'm going to put this down about here. And because it's so big, I'm pushing down to make sure I get all of it. Okay, you don't see anything. It's like magic. Did I tell you I finally got a new dishwasher after like 6 years? And I'm so excited because, okay, I gotta turn this off, hang on. Because it actually works. Like I put my dishes in and it comes out and it's clean. And I keep saying to my husband, oh my gosh, look at this box. You put dishes in it dirty and it comes out clean. He's like, yeah, that's what a dishwasher is supposed to do. I'm like, oh, I wouldn't know because mine would never clean. And I was just too lazy to do the research to find a new one. Okay, so I'm going to leave this for a second. I'm going to put this way over here. Okay, now I'm going to heat emboss this. So I'm going to take my tweezers. Oh, hang on a second before I do that. I turned my fan off because my embossing powder was flying everywhere. Okay, so I'm going to take my tweezers. I'm going to take my heat embosser, or my, what is this thing called? Heat tool. And I'm going to heat this. So this is going to go from a powder to a liquid. And that's how I know that it's done. So if you've never seen this before, you can actually see it go from powder and kind of transition into like a liquid. Okay. And I'm not a left-hand person, so let's see if we can do it this way. So once your heat gun is warm, it just takes off. But you want to be careful that you don't actually burn your paper or burn the embossing powder. like overheat it, because if you overheat it, it actually will melt, which is not what you want. Okay, so can you see that transitioning? This one's very fine, so it's kind of hard to see, but I promise you it's actually happening. Now I'm gonna have to trim this down a little bit because I'm just doing the back to make the paper curl the right way. Okay. Okay. So there we have that. Now, I'm going to bring in my cardstock because I need to, we need to do a couple things. And, I don't have enough room. Okay. So today, while I was trying to create this card, I had a vision. And I was looking for something and I couldn't find it. And then I thought I had something and I couldn't find it. And anyway, I improvised and I did something else. But now, as I was cleaning, I found what I was looking for. So I'm going to actually use, I was going to use this embossing folder because I think it's more suitable than the roses. And I'm going to emboss my Highland Heather. And I'm only going to emboss part of it. So I'm going to do this. And this is what I want. I only want part of my card embossed. Okay. So I'm just going to go behind me. I'm going to emboss this. And then we will be on our way to finishing the card. And then you guys can go along with your Happy Fridays. Okay, so do you see this? You see how pretty this is? This embossing folder is very, very nice. And I love how it kind of like dribbles. I'm going to cover that up for this purpose because I don't need that. Although it's very pretty. Okay. So what do I need to do here? So remember I talked about our two-tone cardstock. So I want to use the darker side. So I'm going to tear this. But what I want to do is I want to tear it on the same side, because what I did today is I tore one on this side and one on this side, which was awfully silly. So I'm just going to take it and I'm going to like literally tear it towards me. Can you see the white? This is the really cool part about it, right? Not so much for this maybe, but if you're looking for like a really cool look, this one would be it. Okay, so there's that one. And then I'm going to do the same thing to this one. So you just want to put a little bit of thought into what side do you want facing out. Okay, I need to cut this, but before I do that, I'm going to put my embossing powder away, because this always makes me extremely nervous, because I know me, and I know me. I know I am going to spill this everywhere. So I've taken the plug out, and I'm just tapping this in to get the most of it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take my brush and I'm going to put the rest of it into my container. So embossing powder, again, is one of those things that unless you're doing hundreds, it will last you an eternity. I love those kind of products because I'm lazy and I don't like rebuying things. Okay, I can clean this up better off camera, but I just want you to see how easy that is. Okay, and then I love that this twists on now instead of pull. Do you know how many times I've gone to pull and then I've ended up with embossing powder like everywhere? Happens all the time. Okay, so you guys are still with me? Okay, let me just clean up my disaster. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just trim a little bit off here and a little bit off here. Like that. Okay. You guys are awfully quiet tonight. So we want to go like this. This is my last card, so you guys got to stick with me. And then I'm going to go like this. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue this and this on the sides. Okay, and I'm going to keep the white side out. Now, I could go this way. Would you rather, I know it's hard to see, but would you rather the white out or the not white out? So this one you can see the white, this one you can't. Does anybody have any preference? We're almost done this card. I promise you we're almost done, friends. I kind of like the white because it kind of breaks it up a little bit, but it is a little bit stark. White showing. Perfect. Okay, Colleen, that's what we're doing. That was my original intent, but it's always nice to hear what other people's thoughts are too. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually run white. You guys are all on the same page. Love it. Okay, I'm going to run my Tombow. And I'm going to run. Now, what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to do that. Well, that is doing its thing. Now, I think my pool party is cut a little bit longer, but that's okay because I can trim it down. Nope, not there. Just grab my bigger block here. Okay. And I just want that to dry. Okay. So while that's doing its thing, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab this one. Is going to drive me crazy, this little guy. This one here is the one I want. Sending the healing power of love. And I'm going to take our new punch, which is a 1 7/8 punch. It's actually from the Safari bundle. 1 7/8 punch. I'm going to use that one. I'm going to punch that out. This is an amazing shape, or size, by the way. Of course, it's an amazing shape. It's circle. But size. I'm going to use my little block. I'm going to line this up on my glass mat because that's how we roll. Oops, and it just moved on me. Okay. And I'm going to take my Memento Black. Okay. Memento Black. Uh-oh. No. I overstamped. Did you see that? There. That's better. Okay. Even I overstamp sometimes. I'm not perfect. Okay, so now I need to do one more thing here. I'm going to take this ribbon, which is amazing. I love this ribbon. I did something. I put something somewhere, and now I don't know where that somewhere is. Okay, I'll use this. Okay, I'm going to take this. I actually I had something else set aside. there's a couple ways you can do what I'm doing right now, but this one works too. So you can take a Sharpie marker or an aqua painter, tie a knot, okay? But you want one side to be shorter than the other, okay? So see how this one's long and this one's short, okay? Then I'm gonna pull this out. I need to find my paper snips. Yeah, so the company that makes the paper snips for Stampin' Up! Has decided, we're not doing that anymore. Which is really sad. So they're trying to find another manufacturer to make that for them, which is always a challenge to find new suppliers because it's quite a process. I can hear it thundering out there. I actually thought there's somebody at the door, and then I realized, no, that's probably just thunder. Okay, so I'm going to take my tear and tape. We're almost done. I promise you. Stick with me, friends. Stick with me. And we'll go here. I keep sticking my extra tape on my camera stand. It's got like little white pieces of tear and tape all over it. Okay, so where'd my ribbon go? Okay, where'd my scissors go? Scissors! There you go. Okay. Oh, I think I'm dyeing my ribbon because I'm getting my color from my fingers all over my ribbon. That's fun. Okay, so there we go. You guys still with me? Stay with me. I'm almost done. Okay. I'm going to take my Highland Heather. There's black embossing powder like all over my desk, even though I was so careful. Okay, so Highland Heather. I'm going to show you the one I did this afternoon too, because I used a different embossing powder. Or, no, I didn't. I used a different embossing folder. Oh, it's thundering out there. It's really thundering. Yeah, we're trying to get hay done this afternoon, and we're trying to beat the rain. We did it. We had to wrap it, but we did it. Okay, so Hocus Pocus, where is my... Right here. The problem is with these nails, I can't do nothing. I can't do anything. That's not even good English. What the heck? What do you think? Do you like it? I have black embossing powder everywhere. I need to clean off my desk. Isn't it pretty? So I'm brushing it because it needs to stick, and it's hot in here. So here's the one I did this afternoon. And this one I used the Damask embossing folder. You can't really see it. But this one I just used that new Glass and Gardens embossing folder. Okay, so heat embossing shows you how to use your re-inkers. So just let's recap for 30 seconds before you guys all run away on me and log off, because now you've seen what you need to see. Don't leave me just yet. Okay, so 1, 2. This one's tonight's. Okay, so you got a lot of techniques tonight, right? So we did the block stamping, we did the rock and roll, we did the splatter, we did the masking with the blending brushes, and then we did re-inkers with aqua painters and heat embossing. That is a lot in one night. Okay? So, reminder, if you purchase the Prairie Grass stamp set, which is $36 from me, I will send you the pieces to make all these cards. Okay? 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. I 110% agree with you, Joanne. I fell in love with this one, and then I was like, oh, this one's pretty. This one, yeah. It's probably the colors on this one, honestly, is probably what it is. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, Sandra says the same thing. I agree. 3, 2, 1, I think, is the thing. All right, so friends, before you log off on me, please, thoughts on tonight. Did you like it? Would you like to do this again next week with something different? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. If you don't like it and you don't want it, then I'm not going to do it because obviously it's my time. I would like to do it on Thursday nights though, if I can. Next Thursday, actually, though, I think my sister has a workshop. I like review of techniques. Yeah, because Technique Club is great, but sometimes we forget about those techniques until we see them again, right? Why is this not going in here? That's weird. Excellent tutorial, Cindy. Thanks so much. Okay. So I will see about doing this again. Maybe not next Thursday, only because I think I'm going to a class. I think I get to be the student next week instead of the teacher, which is going to be super awesome. I just can't remember if it's Wednesday or Thursday. So I will start, if everybody likes that. Any night works for you. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Joanne. I will come up with something different for next week. And and hopefully this kind of gave you some inspiration to try some new things, right? Oh, my alarm's going off because there's somebody here, obviously my husband with my son. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I hope you had a fantastic night. I hope you enjoyed this. Try to stay cool if you're in Ontario. It's supposed to be crazy hot tomorrow. So try to stay safe and cool. Drink lots of water. And we will see you Monday night right here. And we are doing Christmas cards on Monday. All right? All right. See you, everybody. Bye. You did.